What is up, everybody? We are back in the building. Please do me a favor and give me a one if you can hear me okay. Let me know if everything is coming through loud and clear. Before we get started, I would like to let everyone know that I am conducting a raffle. The only thing you need to do to be entered into the raffle is make a contribution of $5 or more to the channel. If you donate $20, you will be entered into the raffle. That will give you 4 entries into the raffle. You donate $5, you will get 1 entry into the raffle. I will write your name down, put marks next to your name to represent how many times you've contributed to the stream, which will give you another entry into the raffle. Currently, this is the list that I have so far with the marks by the names to show how many entries each person has made. And you will be entered to win a awesome custom made leather backpack from a company called Rift Africa, located in Nairobi, Kenya. I will go to Kenya myself, get that bag custom made for you, and I will gift that to you, or that will be your prize if you participate in the raffle. I am recording those names down just so you know. I showed you the paper, and I encourage you to contribute to the stream. You don't have to only do the contribution through super chats. You can also contribute through Cash App. The link is posted at the top of the screen, of the top of the chat. Also, you can contribute through Super Chat or PayPal. The link to Cash App and PayPal are posted at the top of the chat. And obviously, you see in the bottom right-hand corner, there is a $sign, which allows you to contribute through Super Chat. All contribution vehicles are valid. As many times as you contribute $5 or more, you will be entered. And on July 25th, I will go live and announce the winner of the raffle. That's my birthday, July 25th. I want to give something to an audience member on my birthday. And if you super chat, you will be entered to win, or Cash App or Zelle or PayPal or any of those beautiful things. Okay, so today we have to talk about something that really pisses me off. African American people pretending to care about African issues, global African issues, in the name of or in service to the Democrat Party. Recently, the president of South Africa, the billionaire, multi-billionaire president of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, came to the United States to conduct trade talks with Donald Trump. An issue that was brought up during these talks was the issue of white South African farmers requesting asylum in the United States amidst what they say is a genocide being committed on white South African farmers by the Black or indigenous elements of South Africa. Don't forget to give me the one if you can hear me okay. If the sound is not good, please give me a 2 to let me know. Okay, so basically these South African there's a lot of land disputes over in South Africa. The people who are indigenous to South Africa or to Africa, they are saying that there is a disproportionate amount of South African land in the hands of white farmers, the descendants of the Dutch Boers who colonized South Africa almost a century ago. Up until, relatively recently. South Africa was one of the last countries, well, they gained their independence, but even after gaining independence, the white population of South Africa continued to control the country politically. That is until freedom fighters such as Nelson Mandela, Winnie Mandela, and a plethora of others, I think Steve Biko, all these guys launched a revolution to remove the political power from the white descendants of the Boers and place political power back into the hands of the people, indigenous people of South Africa. Even though political power was placed in the hands of indigenous South Africans, white descendants of the Dutch were still managed to maintain control over a lot of the industry within South Africa, including but not limited to the agricultural sector of the country. After a while, after the excitement of independence and gaining control of the government wore off, South Africans began to question why they didn't have a more equal share of the agricultural farming business within the country of South Africa. And obviously, this would lead to questions as to why not. Why did they not have a more proportionate, not equal, proportionate share of the agricultural land of South Africa? This led to pressure being put on the political apparatus of South Africa to redistribute land in a more proportionate way among South Africans, both white and black included. Well, the government never did their damn job. They never did what they were asked of by the people. They never went in, measured land, saw who owned what, and proportionately distributed land with the understanding that whites had acquired an unfair amount of the land due to apartheid. Well, now the people of South Africa have gotten to the point where they are ready to take matters into their own hands. That means taking land by force at the expense of the Boer or white South African farmer. Well, in light of this, many white South Africans are complaining to the United States, saying there's a genocide going on. Hey, they're killing us. And their biggest complaint is that the government of South Africa is not acknowledging the genocide. On top of this, the government continues to produce numbers saying that what is going on, while admitting it's going on, does not constitute or meet the definition of a genocide. So yeah, they are killing white farmers, but it's not enough of them dying yet for this to be considered a genocide. So during the trade talks, Donald Trump absolutely ambushes South African President Cyril Ramaphosa by bringing up the last thing Cyril, the billionaire, mind you, wants to discuss: the claims being made by these white South African farmers. I'm going to play a video to let you all see what happened.
We have thousands of stories talking about it. Sure. And we have documentaries, we have news stories. And that is Natalie here, somebody here to turn that? I could show you a couple of things, and it has to be responded to.
Yeah, sure.
Let me see the articles, please, if you would. And turn the lights down. Turn the lights down and just put this on. It's right behind you, Johan.
There's nothing this parliament can do. With or without you, people are going to occupy land. We require no permission from you, from the president, from no one. We don't care. We can do whatever you want to do. Who are you to tell us whether we can occupy land or not? We are going to occupy land. South Africa occupy land. That's who we are. So whatever you want to do, we can withdraw my membership from this useless parliament.
Yes, honorable member.
Must never be scared to kill. A revolution demands that at some point there must be killing, because the killing is part of a revolutionary act. Shoot to kill. Namaza. Kill the poor, the farmer. Kill the poor, the farmer. Pa, pa. Pa, pa, kill,
The man of D-A-D-E is a white man. So these people, when you want to hit them, go after a white man. They feel a terrible pain because you have touched a white man. Not because Mashama and Sodi will not be touched. They will be touched, no one. But we are starting with this whiteness. We are cutting the throat of whiteness. It's like that.
shoot, kill, Namaza. Kill the brewer, the farmer. Kill the brewer, the farmer. Pa, pa, pa. Shoot to kill, Namaza. Kill the brewer, the farmer. Kill the brewer, the farmer. Pa,
I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I'm saying to you, was not called for the killing of white people, at least for now. I can't ever see the future.
Yeah, but, I mean, you understand somebody watching that, especially as it gets shared on Twitter, they freak out. It sounds like a genocide on Twitter.
Who will expropriate land without compensation, whether they like it or not. If they object, they can seek refugee in America.
Now this is very bad. These are burial sites right here. Burial sites. Over 1,000 of white farmers, and those cars are lined up to pay love on a Sunday morning. Each one of those white things you see is a cross, and there's approximately 1,000 of them. They're all white farmers, the family of white farmers. And those cars aren't driving, they're stopped there to pay respects to their family member who was killed. And it's a terrible sight. I've never seen anything like it. Both sides of the road, you have crosses.
Okay, so you see there the South African president looking like he's never even seen that video, even though we all know he has seen the video. As a matter of fact, he knows exactly what's going on here. He knows the person who is leading the chant of the song that states that the Africans should kill the Boer and drive them from their land It is a song that was traditionally sung during the South African revolution that led to South African indigenous populations taking back political power from the white descendants of the Dutch. Now, that man in the picture, his name is Julius Malema, and he is the leader of the EFF, the Economic Freedom Fighter Party in South Africa. This is an extremely left-wing liberal political party within South Africa. These people are basically socialists. And I used to really be a fan of Julius Malema until I realized through no real research, his own statements, that he is basically a person that is being paid to stoke division within the country of South Africa. Basically, Julius Malema will do anything for a check. This is proven by the fact that Julius Malema is one of the perpetuators of a wildly unpopular push to spread LGBTQ propaganda throughout South Africa. Now, when you get an African man to get on stage at a huge rally with the LGBTQ flag wrapped around his body, you know that somebody is being paid. You know, if you've ever been to Africa, if you get a leader to wrap a LGBTQ flag around his body at a huge rally, you know that that man is being paid. And that is exactly what EFF leader Julius Malema did. He gave a speech talking about how there needs to be a spread in LGBTQ rights and all these other things that are wildly unpopular in South Africa. So one would question whether or not this guy actually ever truly desires to become president of South Africa, which once you go to that country and you learn the makeup of the political landscape, he will never be elected. So now his job is to do what Democrats do here. They stoke the fires of division, they fearmonger, and they do anything in their power to stoke division in the society. And there is no doubt in my mind that someone paid Julius Malema to start the chants of the song stating "Kill the Boer" at that huge rally. And I'm going to tell you that there's a play going on here. And I think these black people in America and even South Africa are way too ignorant to see it. If you were white in South Africa and you wanted access to the American economy, the American markets, and basically like, dude, I'm tired of living in this shithole, South Africa, which the ANC led by Cyril Ramaphosa is driving into the ground. We did another show telling you how horribly the economy of South Africa has been run since the Black South Africans took control, since the ANC took control of the economy and of the government. Well, if you're white, you're just thinking, dude, how the hell can I get the hell out of here? You can't really go back to Holland. You're no longer a citizen of Holland. And so if you're going to vie for citizenship somewhere, why wouldn't that somewhere be the United States of America? Why wouldn't you just say, hey, let me take my shot at getting into the greatest country in the world? And that's exactly what I believe they're doing. I believe they paid Julius Malema to preach to people that they should kill white farmers, or Boers as they call them. And they are then able to use this message, this propaganda, this imagery to stoke or perpetuate this narrative of genocide being committed against whites in South Africa. Now, do I believe there's an outright genocide of white farmers in South Africa? No, I don't believe that. But do I know that there are white South African farmers being killed by people who wish to occupy their land? Of course there is. Why wouldn't they do that? South Africa is in a state of chaos pretty much when you leave Johannesburg, Cape Town, Durban, and other urban centers. No one's out there in the freaking wilderness protecting or patrolling, making sure those people are safe. Dude, even if you go to a place, if you catch the subway, the train from Joburg to Pretoria Township, dude, you're pretty much unprotected. There's nothing out there to keep someone from rolling up on you and just chopping your head off, right? So what I believe is happening is that I believe elements inside of the political apparatus, primarily the DA party, the Democratic Alliance, which is seen as the white-run political party within South Africa, I believe they're just like, look, let's get some imagery of this guy, Julius Malema, asking for the death, calling for the deaths of white farmers. Let's send this to somebody like Donald Trump in America, and let's just have these people apply for asylum. And it worked. They brought 59 South African farmers and their families to America. And now, Black America, at the orders of the Democrat Party, have to act a fool about 59 white people coming into the country when they didn't even give a damn. Listen, when they were too scared to stand up and speak out about 20 million illegal criminal alien rapists being allowed into the country by the Democrat Party. There is no way you are telling me that you care more about 59 white folks from South Africa being allowed into this country when you didn't say a word about 20 million criminal illegal alien murderers being allowed into this country that came into the Black community and absolutely wreaked havoc, absolutely displaced Black people, caused our children's schools to get shut down, started engaging in criminal activity basically from day one, all while being funded and taken care of by your taxpayer dollars. It doesn't make any sense. That's how I know this is Black people pretending to care about what's going on with this situation in South Africa in service of their Democrat overlords. It's a tired trick. It's a tired game that no one wants to play with you anymore. Do I think the 59 white farmers should be allowed in America? Yeah, let them in. You know why? Because you let 20 million murderers and criminals into America and they offered nothing. And on top of that, when the white farmers came into America, they actually acted like they were proud to be here. They act like they cared, like they were excited and thankful to be in America. Unlike the South American criminals who came to America and did nothing but commit crime, murder, rape, sex trafficking, and assault on police officers. Come on, man. These people are just criminals. But this is what it means to be Black in America. This is what it means to be a Black Democrat in America. It means you have to act totally uncivilized. You have to act totally hypocritical, and you have to cheer, fight, and defend things that hurt you in the long run. And this hurt you immediately because ain't no white South African boy kicking in apartment building doors telling you you're going to pay me the rent now. Ain't no South African boy murdering and raping Lincoln Riley. Ain't no South African boy killing women and children in the United States or sex trafficking children across the border. Only the criminal, illegal, alien, migrant South Americans were doing that. And black people went and voted at 85% for the guy who allowed that to happen. Understand that. Understand that. You guys literally voted at 85% for the man who allowed this mess to happen. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying that your sentiments are genuine. And every single day you wake up, you hear a new story about how one of these criminal, illegal, alien migrants is violating our laws, violating our children, or behaving like a criminal in this country. Now, I'm going to switch it to an example of that really quick. I don't think or believe that these Boers, these white South Africans, are going to do stuff like what we're seeing being done these days. And I'm going to give you an example of the type of ridiculous mess that's going on. Here we go.
Police there say that is. Listen to this. He went about his life as a teenage student at a high school in Ohio, but police there say that is all fiction and that in reality, he's actually a 24-year-old Venezuelan migrant. Bill Malugin is following this wild story for us. Bill, what happened here?
Yeah, Aisha, really bizarre story out of the state of Ohio. That's where police have arrested a 24-year-old Venezuelan man who they say was pretending to be a 16-year-old unaccompanied minor. Also, he could attend a local high school, which he was doing successfully for almost a year and a half. Take a look. Police in Perrysburg, Ohio, arresting Anthony Emmanuel Labrador Sierra on Monday. He's now charged with felony forgery. DHS tells Fox he's a visa overstay who first came to the U.S. in 2019 and was a recipient of temporary protective status, aka TPS. He was arrested during a traffic stop in which he was the passenger of a car, and he's now facing charges for enrolling in the school fraudulently. According to the local school district, he was living with two adult legal guardians who contacted them after they discovered he was a 24-year-old man, not a teenager, reportedly after the mother of his child turned him in and revealed his true identity to them. The school district says when he enrolled, he had forged documents, including an Ohio driver's license, a social security number, and DHS TPS documents. He was even playing on the high school's JV soccer and swim teams. In a statement, the school district said the suspect's deception was complex and that multiple agencies were misled by his falsified records. Now, ICE does confirm to Fox News they have placed a detainer request on Labrador Sierra with local law enforcement. He's being held on $50,000 bond. His next court appearance is set for May 29th. Bizarre story, Aisha.
Incredible.
We'll send it back to you.
Bill Malugin live for us. Thanks, Bill.
Now, these are the people that black Democrat politicians are defending. They're saying guys like that should be allowed to stay. Actually, you know what? I'm going to be real. I'm going to keep it a buck. I don't think that guy's that bad. That guy existed among high school children for a year. No telling how many young high school girls he violated with them thinking he was 16 years old. They probably were blown away by this guy. The guy's clearly an idiot and he's unathletic. He's a grown man and can't even make the JV soccer team. Make that make sense. All y'all niggas do is play soccer all damn day, and you can't make the varsity soccer team in Stony Brook, Middle America? Terribly, terrible, and horrible. But my thing is this. These Democrat politicians and the people who work for him, right? The people they work for, they are defending South American gang members who are members of MS-13. Shout out to my boy Earl Dean Grant, my boy. He said, women will do you in, bro. Own baby mama turned him in. And she did the right thing, but I bet you it came after an argument over child support. Bro, you have children. Why are you running your ass to a high school every day? That's the thing that really kills me. You have children. Why are you running your ass to high school every day? This dude is absolutely sick. So you not take, but you know what? He doesn't need to take care of his children. My neck has vanished. He doesn't need to take care of his children because you know why? This guy is probably, his children are probably living off of government assistance. Hey, why does the guy need to go to work when Biden made it so that the government would funnel billions of dollars into these people's bank accounts? I feel like I have a strong neck right now. I don't know what you're talking about. And I've been in the gym, buddy. Anyway, but yeah, why would he have to go to work? So this guy's basically living the high school dream while his baby mama is struggling every day with his kids. And she got sick of his crap. She said, I'm not doing this anymore. You're going to take care of these damn kids or I'm turning your ass in. And that's exactly what she did. And the guy does look hella young. I'm not going to lie. I want to play another video because this propaganda is being spread by the mainstream media. For some reason, they claim that they're neutral. They claim that they're unbiased. They claim a lot of things. But at the end of the day, when you see CNN panelists arguing, having like real arguments with each other over whether or not 59 people should be allowed in the country after they were silent as 20 million criminal alien migrants were allowed into the country, it's just, to me, it sounds like a bunch of baloney. It sounds like anything Donald Trump does, they don't care about this stuff. They literally, anything Donald Trump does, they are going to be against it. They're going to try to pick a fight over it. They're going to try to call it out. They're going to try to make Donald Trump seem like he's doing something wrong. And the reality is these people couldn't care less about a migrant, a South African asylum seeker. The only thing they care about
to understand
is
the world,
getting paid
you need the truth.
by their overlord.
This is the
That
largest
is
measles outbreak in 30 years.
It's why we follow the facts.
Sorry about that. All they care about is getting paid. And it is just disgusting to me because when you're looking at the media to give you unbiased opinion, unbiased perspective, and basically unbiased coverage of the news, and they do this, it really causes the American people to develop a distrust of the mainstream media. And they're pretty much cooked. Viewership is down. No one believes a word that is coming out of these people's mouth. And they're right to not believe it. Because no longer does the mainstream media have the interest of the American people at heart. They don't give a damn about the American people being safe. All they care about is Trump is bad. We got to get Trump out of power, and we're willing to say and do anything to make that happen. I'm going to play this segment from CNN where they absolutely glazed South African President Cyril Ramaphosa and tried to paint Trump as being delusional about what he's being told. And everyone is running around saying, oh, there's no proof that this is happening. Listen, man, what I saw on that video and what's being said, the grave sites and all that stuff, for me, I don't need any more proof. Yeah, y'all could come over here. But on top of that, if you, how can you say there's no proof? Do you really believe that the South African government is going to admit that a genocide is taking place under their watch, on their watch? No. And on top of that, the genocide of the whites helped them. The genocide of white farmers helps the ANC because the ANC is only held accountable in that country by their white population. That's probably why they're doing the little bit that they are doing for the country of South Africa. Because if they were only being held accountable by blacks, they would start doing what damn near every other African country is doing. Screwing the people over with impunity. Ricardo Love, tell Fox News they are fair and balanced. You still trying to defend or defend Trump. I'm not defending anybody. I'm calling out the ignorance and hypocrisy of my own people. Pretending to care about, don't no black American give a damn about what's going on in South Africa. So when all of a sudden the white people start saying, well, you're letting South African refugees come in, and then black people say, yeah, I say, oh, no. They're just being told to care about that. They're being told to go out and make a fuss about that. And we need to stop that mess. Democrats still ain't delivered you nothing. In 65, 70 years, you've been supporting them. Why are you still letting them use you like an attack dog?
What would you like President Ramaphosa to do about the situation?
Hold on.
What would you like President Ramaphosa to do about the situation that we've
don't
just
know.
seen on the screen?
I don't know. Look, these are articles over the last few days. Death of people. Death. Horrible death. Death. I don't know.
But you know that
To pick
there are
anyone,
people who are
white
black.
South Africans are fleeing because of the violence and racist laws. And this is all.
We have a multi-party democracy in South Africa that allows people to express themselves, political parties to adhere to various policies. And in many cases, or in some cases, those policies do not go along with government policy. Our government policy is completely against what he was saying, even in the parliament. And they're a small minority party, which is allowed to exist in terms of our constitution.
But you do allow them to take land.
No.
You do allow them to take land.
Nobody can
And
take
then when
land.
they take the land, they kill the white farmer. And when they kill the white farmer, nothing happens to them.
No, there is
Nothing happens to
There
them.
is criminality in our country. People who do get killed, unfortunately, through criminal activity, are not only white people. Majority of them are black people. And we have now
The
been
farmers are
utilized.
black. The farmers are not black.
We
I don't
now-
say that's good or bad, but the farmers are not black. And the people that are being killed in large numbers, and you saw all those grave sites, and those are people that loved ones going, I guess on a Sunday morning, they told me, to pay respect to their loved ones that were killed. Their heads chopped off, they died violently. And,
some people are just too slow to understand what the issue is here. You got these dudes who will jump in the comments, too cowardly to ever come up. That's one of the unique aspects of this show. I'll let these people come up to lie to you, right? Listen, I'm a Pan-African person. I've been hearing about this shit for 10 years about the white farmers being killed and their land being taken. Okay? The point of the matter is this. There are white farmers that are being killed. I said, and if you listened, I said, do I believe that there's a genocide? I said, no, I don't believe there's a genocide. But the issue is you have someone who can get on stage and say that they will kill farmers and take their land. They will say that they want to kill the Boer, sing traditional war songs, calling people to kill the Boer, and there's nothing happening to him. That's the problem. You can't do that shit in America. Imagine if a white man got up on stage like, yeah, we gonna kill the blacks, and yeah, we will take their land, and you can't stop us, and there ain't nothing you could do about it. That person would be arrested because he is now violating he's going outside of the boundaries of freedom of speech, especially if that person is a political party leader. You guys sound ignorant. It's not even the fact that there's a genocide happening. It's the fact that there is a political leader of a significant political party who actually does get votes in the presidential, the party election, calling for the death of white farmers. Could you imagine if Mike Johnson got up in front of Congress or at a rally and start calling for the death of black people? What would you guys expect to happen?
Oh, shit.
You would expect him to be arrested immediately for trying to incite a genocide. Do you realize that that's exactly what happened in Rwanda when the radio stations start telling people to go kill people? And when you got a population that is suffering, they're looking for anybody to blame for why they're in the situation they're in. But the part that makes you extra stupid is the fact that the government is ran by all blacks. And you guys are going to blame a couple thousand white people for why these people ain't got what they need. You got to be stuck on stupid. Yes, they're suffering. They're suffering. They'll tell you, go look at the youth unemployment rate, Sam Games. And now it becomes, they're not suffering. Ain't nothing wrong. Have you looked at the crime rate in South Africa lately? This is all our people do. It's just, first you complain. Then when people point out how you're responsible for the things you're complaining about, all of a sudden you act like those things you complained about ain't happening. Bro, we're tired of it. If that makes me a traitor or a coon, your mom's a traitor. Your mom's a coon because she pushed you out. And you're a liar. That's the biggest issue. Just like it happens in South Africa, it happens in America. In every black urban area, the same type of nonsense. You're complaining about what you ain't got. Now someone complains, tells you, well, maybe there's things you're doing that are the reason why you don't got what you want. Oh, no, who said we ain't got what we want? You did. You did. South Africans complain all the time. And now all of a sudden, ain't nothing going on. They've been complaining about the crime rate for the past 5-6 years. All of a sudden, ain't nothing going on. Come on, bro. Go ahead, Daniel Beverly.
I happen to agree with you on this one. Trump got the right idea to kick all these illegal tethers out. And you said FBA, or you said black Americans don't care about what's going on over in South Africa. I agree. I do not care. I'm Bennett. I'm minding my business. They need to work. They need to work odd. Just work odd, and everything will be okay. I land my plane.
Look, I'm trying to tell you. Listen, this is our biggest problem. Sam Games, you're a smart guy, but you're acting dumb tonight. Ain't no genocide going on. Please. Didn't I already say I don't believe there's a genocide happening? Didn't I say that? But this is what we do. We latch on. We lock our minds on one thing and use that to get to hyper focus. We hyper focus on that so we don't have to focus on what the real problem is. Those days are over, Sam Games. If that's how you want to live, go be with whoever you with. Go with Pookie and Ray Ray in the ghetto and go be over there and see how it works out for you.
The youth unemployment in South Africa is 34.9%. And that's on record.
34.9% youth unemployment. They not struggling. What?
In America, if we had youth unemployment that was at 8 to 15%, that would be considered depression level. Levels.
Daba X is probably from South Africa. No genocide, but people are being killed. And you got an idiot, Julius Malema, who definitely has an agenda. He's an agent, but y'all still following him.
The thing is, he's connected with Victoria Nuland.
And George Soros.
Victoria Nuland and Soros are both the biggest socialists.
Malema admitted he was bought out. He admitted he sold out. He literally admitted it. These fools still following him, thinking everything he says is working in their favor. He don't work for you no more. You didn't pay him enough.
If
I remember,
liberalism doesn't work here in America, what the fuck make you think this shit is gonna work in their backyard?
listen, white people leave South Africa. South Africa is going to go back to third world status overnight. I promise you. They're the only people who are holding the ANC accountable at all. Show you proof of what, Ransford? We just go watch the video. See, this show us proof. Show us proof. They want proof. We just played it. When someone's at a stadium with thousands of people screaming, kill the Boer, and saying we're gonna steal land and all this shit, that is proof. But if Mike Johnson got up there saying, yeah, let's kill blacks, no one would say show us proof. These fools would be go up in a frenzy. They wouldn't even have to see the video. All they would have to do is hear about it. And they would, oh man, we got to do something. Go ahead, we winning.
Man, this is crazy. South Africa should focus on the means of production and actually focusing on getting involved in the actual capitalistic world. When it comes to South Africa, it's a beautiful location. It has so much potential. Beautiful people, beautiful women, beautiful views, beautiful ocean scenarios. This is where the means of production needs to be scaled up. Energy processing, scenarios of actually having an optic fiber cable grid. That needs to be the top priority.
Bro,
when it comes to all this shit, this is performative theatrics.
This is performance art. Yes, 100%. I've been to South Africa. It's easily one of the most beautiful countries on earth.
Most definitely.
The government actually own more land than anybody, if you really want to know. I think they own like 78% of the land. But they let these people squabble and fight because the ANC does want white people out of the country because they know as soon as the white people leave, they can screw the people over totally. That's all this is about. Dude, somebody said, show me proof that Julius Malema is paid. This right here is all the proof I need. If I see an African man in a LGBT flag wrapped around his chest, speaking to hundreds of people with cameras in front of him, I know he has been paid off. I know. You don't even know your own culture. You don't even know your own people, Ransford. That's how idiotic you are. You don't even know your own people. I know that no African man would do that unless he got paid a significant amount of money.
It's raining men.
Bro, they kill gay people in Africa.
Men.
Bro, in Africa, you go to prison for being gay. They kill people for being gay. Nobody, even if you believe in gay rights, even if being gay is legal in your country, no African man. Find me another video of an African politician doing this.
That's true.
You will never find another. We got an African up here.
Why are you gay? Why are you gay?
Who just said that? Who just said that?
It's me. Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing? It's TSM.
Hey, TSM, tell me. Is this not proof that this guy is paid off?
Okay.
Why are you gay?
I'm coming. The thing is what? The thinking was like that people in Africa are very homophobic. 99%. 99%. West Africa, South Africa, North Africa, East Africa, they don't like gay people. And actually, like the fact like you showed Julius Malema with the LGBT flag, I'm surprised about it. I didn't saw it at all. It's just damn crazy to me. It's like because like Julius Malema used to claim like kill the Boer and stuff like that, but he bringing back like some like homophobic, homosexual stuff over there, and that's crazy. Of course, he being paid. No way he did that for free. No way.
Man, he getting millions. He admitted he was bought out. He literally admitted it.
And this is very dangerous. That is very dangerous because like now we try to find out about something like South African are confusing. And South African have been confusing for years. Since Mandela get out from jail, South African are confusing. That's the truth of this country. Like even like I believe South Africans that still have a lot of trauma until today, post apartheid. What's happened, and I feel like they struggle to find themselves between black people and white people over there, and Afrikaners and stuff like that. So like South Africa like have to think twice about his local policy and is out international politics because like the fact like Donald Trump showed the video to the president like that, even the president himself like he didn't know where to sit around. He was like watching the video, so what the fuck is that?
He act like he never even saw the video.
Exactly, and he knows exactly what Trump talking about, and like what the Trump was trying to teach him, it was what he was like, hey man, behind closed door you support Malema, but in the front, you act like they have no like, kind of division between white people and black people over there. And that's why Trump was mad about it. Don't play double face out here.
He's man, everybody who is knowledgeable of the situation, they know exactly what Trump was doing. You want to do trade with America, and I'm gonna get to that later. But you want to do trade with America, but at the same time, you got a guy in your country talking about committing genocide, talking about stealing people's land, and he hasn't been arrested. Let's go Indama. Indama, let me ask you a question. Do you believe that the ANC benefits from the white farmers being removed from the country, for them leaving South Africa, going to America?
Well, I think they've been doing this whole white farmer thing for so long in South Africa. I think now I don't even think they care about the white farmers anymore. I think they doing this weird thing with Malema where he got a rainbow flag on, and like you said, he's bought off, and he has some kind of agenda that he's working with Soros or whatever. He has some kind of agenda and stuff, and I mean, this black man walking around with a rainbow flag, like come on, man, like this is they really pushing that stuff in South Africa. It's weird.
It's crazy. And the thing is like the fact like you show the video of him with the LGBT drag around him like that, I start to think the other way now. I start to think like, hey, Trump is doing like a good favor to Africa to kick this out. Because like for real, like I didn't know this guy was an LGBT parlor like that. I'm not homophobic, like you can do whatever you want, but I know truly African are not like those with this LGBT thing like that. And I think Trump is doing a favor to Africa to tie up this guy. What do you think, Brandon?
I believe that I believe Trump is a blessing to Africa, because Trump doesn't want the spread of this nonsense in Africa. Could you imagine if transgender ideology really got into Africa? Could you imagine that would create a genocide? I know Africans are extremely homophobic, and they're not going to be like, oh man, let's be tolerant. They're going to start chopping people's heads off.
Exactly.
That's what they're going to do. You come home, mom, I'm a man now. I'm a woman now. Bro, they're going to cut your arms and legs off, bro, and probably burn you alive.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question, Brandon?
Real quick, and then we're going to Eye of Horus.
So you support Trump. Trump said that Africa is a shithole. Do you agree?
I believe there are many countries in Africa that are shitholes.
I agree too. Thank you.
Trump said there are some African countries that are shitholes. Do I think South Africa is a shithole? Not yet. It will be if they keep doing this. Do I think Kenya is? No. Botswana, no. Nigeria, no. Sierra Leone, no. Cote d'Ivoire, no. Now places like Burkina Faso, they're trying to come up, but as of right now, it's just a place nobody wants to be. But the shitholes are the really corrupt places like Guinea. There's a lot of Togo, where the people are just so ignorant. They let dictators, 95-year-old dictators, just running their pockets. Yeah, and I don't even think it's a shithole because it's like dirty or anything. I think it's a shithole because the mindset of a lot of the people there. in certain countries. But do I think the black community is a shithole? Yeah, in many ways, yeah. Because you got stuff where people are defending ignorance and criminality. What else can you describe it as? Go ahead, Ivors.
Okay.
The only issue I have is that it seems that you have changed your stance on migration to the United States. Prior to the election, you kind of had an isolationist mindset. You know, we need to worry about America. Our tax dollars don't need to go to migrants. Now all of a sudden you're concerned about genocides going on in other countries and what we need to do to save them. It seems to be a very dynamic shift from one position to the next.
Well, I can tell that you didn't listen to the beginning of the stream because I never said I thought there was a genocide going on in South Africa. I never said
regardless
that
if there is or there isn't.
Can you listen to me answer your misguided assertion? You said what you think. Can I tell you what my stance actually is? Is that okay?
Go ahead.
Okay. I said I'm tired of black people pretending to care about things they don't care about. They don't really care about in service of the Democrat Party. I couldn't give a fly on a camel's ass about a white South African farmer. Couldn't give a damn. Couldn't care less if they all got killed. I don't care.
Do you care if they come to the U.S. and we spend our tax dollars on them?
The only thing I care about is black people pretending to care about 59 South African farmers when they sat up and voted for somebody who let 20 million illegal, criminal, alien migrants into the country.
Okay,
that is all this is about.
So respectfully, you would be that black person, right? You're just doing it for the Republican Party because when the South American migrants were coming to America, you were against that. But now they have South African migrants coming to America and you don't care. So basically you only care about migration depend on what party is pushing it. So you're doing the same exact thing, but just the opposite side of that coin.
You really think you really think that you're gonna tell me what I think? That's not what I said. I don't care. The South African migrants, those people are saying that there's a genocide being committed against them. I don't believe there's a genocide being committed against them, but I believe people like Julius Malema are being paid off to create this imagery that makes it look like there's a genocide being committed against them or that there's a call for genocide to be committed against them. So they're playing the game. Do I think they should be over here? Hell no. Hell no, I don't think that. But I can see how they played the game to get over here. They played the game and they got over here. What can I say about that? That's totally different from an illegal MS-13 rapist being allowed to come into the cities of America, rape, murder, and kill, and then a bunch of Democrats coming over here defending the person. You can't see the difference?
No, because if you're anti-migration,
so
right?
A rapist is the same as someone who is basically committing fraud to get over here, but they're being aided by people within that country.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Out of the 59 South African migrants that came over, how many of them are pedophiles? How many of them are rapists?
Who knows?
Exactly. So we don't know. So
but
we
could, in fact,
but what you got to understand. No, hold on. What you have to understand, which makes your comment ignorant. Those people are vetted. People, their criminal background has been checked. They ain't criminals. They ain't rapists. They ain't murderers. They haven't been convicted of that over in South Africa. We let people who have been convicted of rape, convicted of murder, convicted of all types of things, released out of mental institutions over into this country. Do you at least acknowledge that?
I don't listen. I don't know the backgrounds of
brother. We have an issue with illegal immigration.
We do know their background. Wait. See, don't do this. Don't listen. Listen. If you don't know, no, it's not a straw man. You don't even know what the meaning of that is.
I
You
do.
just said so. What you're doing, you're arguing with me from a place of ignorance because you said how many of those people are rapists and murderers based on their criminal records after being vetted by the United States government. None of them. Now that's totally different from someone being allowed to enter this country who has a history of murder, rape, child molestation, and sex trafficking, which thousands of the people allowed into this country had a record of that in their own country. Many of those people were literally in prison, released, and told they had to come here. So you can't acknowledge that.
I can't acknowledge. I can acknowledge you said that. I don't.
Nigga's gone. So look, if you come up here and you start playing dumb, I'm not doing that with you. Because everybody in here, this is just like the people who tried to say that they couldn't see that Joe Biden had dementia. See, this is all these people got to pretend that they didn't know that. But they knew, he knows. But his argument is that oh, well, how many of those people are racist? Well, according to the vetting, none of them. But we do know that many people from South America were rapists and all that because they had criminal history that their country tried to hide, but then was forced to release. And now, oh, someone, you're the caller is right. Brandon is cool with South African Nazis, but got problems with immigrants with melanin. I'm not cool with anybody, not even your mama. What I'm saying is, I don't want any illegal immigrants or anybody coming. Actually, I've always said I was fine with legal immigration. I'm also fine with black immigrants coming over here. I've repeatedly said that. What I'm not fine with is South American criminals coming into this country unvetted. I think my stance has been made pretty damn clear. Go ahead, Bandit.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, like I agree with you on a lot of stuff. I don't think it's a genocide, but I feel like people like Elon Musk and all of them, I feel like they're looking at the opportunity. I think it's a political opportunity. That's what I think it is.
Oh, you know that this was definitely a play by Elon Musk. He's hooking his people up. Get up.
Yeah, I mean, which is not a problem. And on top of that, I kind of don't feel bad with a lot of things in South Africa because after when it came to black immigrants in South Africa, they were killing them over ridiculous stuff, you know? So
The
like
funny
whatever.
thing, the funny thing is blacks kill the people from
Nigeria.
Zimbabwe. No, Zimbabwe.
Oh,
They scared of the Nigerians. The Nigerians got them niggas scared. The Zimbabweans be like, they be killing them, doing shit to them because they feel like they're taking their jobs and stuff. My whole thing is this: why are you allowing Julius Malema to create the optics to make it look like there's a genocide when there isn't one? Why hasn't Cyril arrested him already for getting on stage talking about kill the Boer and we gonna take land and all this mess? That's threats. Those are bro, I'm trying to tell you, when you go to Africa, one of the primary things you cannot do is incite violence. They will arrest you. Even if you speak bad about the president, they will arrest you and say you are inciting violence.
Yeah,
I
that's
thought
true.
isn't that illegal here
Can I say this
in
real
America?
quick?
Hold on, wait, TSM, am I wrong about that?
No, you're not wrong. You're right. But the thing is what? Okay. The South, even like when Donald Trump and the South African president was sitting down in the Oval Office, they was talking about what? So defend himself, the South African president, he said Julius Malema is just a part of like different party. You got so many political parties in South Africa, and like Julius Malema is just one of them. So he wasn't trying to make like Julius Malema is not important. And like in the eyes of Trump, and he was important because what Trump tried to do. Trump, he knows exactly what he does. He knows like a lot of Americans right now are anti-immigration for so many reasons: economic reason, social reason, cultural reason. Okay, and Trump knows that. But Trump, you also know what happened is what bringing some South African out here. He tried to just send a message and say, "Hey, even you try to kick out white people from your country, we got them back, and they're gonna be here, and they're gonna be farmer out here, and they're gonna be rich again." So
And they're
what?
gonna control and they're gonna control black people. Their
Yeah,
ancestors gonna control future black people
I get
because
it.
they gonna like he's saying, right? They've been I mean they've been treated bad in South Africa. Their mom and dad been treated bad. They've seen the hardship those black people did to them in South Africa. They've seen the torture allegedly. I don't know if it's true or not. They've seen the genocide allegedly. I don't know. But once their kids grow up in America, just like Elon Musk grown up in America, they gonna hate black people. So the chicken come home to roost
But these white
because
folks has been dumped in Iowa.
I
How
don't
many
care.
black people
What
are in
I'm
Iowa?
telling to you, hold on, let me speak. So what I'm saying to you is when Nelson Mandela came to Harlem in 93, 94, black people was saying, what are you gonna do what of racism in America? Are you gonna speak on it? He said, look, I'm a sovereign president in South Africa, and this is your government in America. I don't have nothing to do with what your government do in your country. If you want to come to South Africa, you're welcome. But whatever happened under under this umbrella in America, I have nothing to do with it. What Trump did was put his nose in something he had no business putting his nose in. That's a South African problem and South African situation. They have nothing to do with the United States of America. But like I said, those kids that came, if they were genocide and if they were treated bad, chicken come home to roost. Once they get about 20, 30, whatever the case may be, they probably won't put a sword on your grandkids or nothing like that, but they will systematically put them in chain and locked up. I guarantee you, if they were treated bad, if they seen all those hardship, what better place than America to treat black people than any other place? Is when they go for a job, those those brothers, those white brothers, like you know what I'm saying, they going to treat those who want to get a job. I'm guaranteed they gonna do it to these black people. Let them bring all the South African over here. Who cares? Y'all gonna let them in anyway because y'all like them. So I'll
Yeah,
stop right there.
Well, the thing is, I thought the South Africans wanted the white people to be gone anyway. So, is anybody that's in South Africa currently mad about
Not
these
really.
white folks getting
You
imported
know what?
in?
I even heard, be honest with you, I even heard that a lot of South Africans are telling us to mind our own business. That's have nothing to do with us about, they like their white people in their country. I swear. I heard a lot. They don't like
Man,
xenophobic. They don't like people from Zimbabwe, Nigeria, whatnot. But they love their white people. Medina, whatever his
mm.
name is, talking about kill white people. This nigga don't have no power in South Africa. He got who he got. He's not even what is he? What's his title in South Africa?
He actually does have power. He's the leader
So
of
what's his title in South Africa
he's
government?
the he's the leader of the EFF party, the
And,
Economic
and how,
Freedom
and
Party.
how much power do they got in South Africa?
I
What
mean,
what what
They got a
what they
voter
have in
block.
control? What are
They
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 have a
got
controlling
voter
in South
block.
Africa?
they have a pretty good voting block.
She
They
said
have
voting block. I'm saying power. What
That's a
power they
power.
have?
Voting blocks is a
So
power.
okay, okay,
what's the high what's the highest ranking?
wait a
Okay,
minute, bro. Hold on.
yeah,
You gotta
okay.
shut up for a second. Listen, the if you it's what you're saying right now is like asking what power do the libertarians have? What power do
Okay.
the independents have? They have
Right.
enough power to decide an election should they decide to align with the DA or with the ANC or somebody like that. They are a political party. He is their leader. So he's just like what Mike Johnson is to the Republicans, or like what Hakeem Jeffries is to the Democrats. That's a powerful position.
Do Bernie Sanders have power in
This
America?
guy, he would be higher ranking than Bernie Sanders if he was in America. He's a party leader. Bernie Sanders is not a party leader.
Malema takes 15% of the voter block, brother. 15% in South Africa.
That's significant.
15%.
He could side with the whites. He could side with the DA and get the ANC out.
Go ahead.
What I'm telling you is the DA last election was very close to the ANC. The ANC was actually scared that they might lose the presidency. If Julius Malema and the economic freedom fighters would have sided with the DA would have beat the ANC and the whites would have took control of the government. That's power. Why do you think Cyril is freaking trying to downplay him like, oh, he's not serious? That's not a big deal. Because if he turns on Malema, ANC could lose the country in the next election. That's power, brother, whether you admit it or not.
I just want to say one last thing, Brandon.
Go ahead.
Shout out to the South Africans for not fleeing and holding their nuts a little bit. I'm kind of proud of them a little bit.
So, so where you stand, homie? Do you believe the guy who talking right now? Brandon mentioned about how Brandon, what you say? Brandon, you say they're all some not South African, but a country in Africa that you would consider trash, right? Asshole, you know.
There are some. Like,
okay, so no, I'm not done. So do you believe what Brandon also say? There's some cities in America, United States, that is populated by black or shithole too. Do you agree with that too?
There are cities in America that
No,
are
okay. Because
Can he answer?
Brandon?
Can he fucking answer?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Daniel.
Yeah, I agree, but our shitholes still look better than their shit.
That's not true.
I'm not taking it.
Not true.
That is
well,
true.
no.
But that's his point. No,
our shitholes.
Baltimore is paradise compared to Makoko.
Listen,
go pull that shit up on your screen. Google that up and share that screen.
Listen, I'll tell you
them motherfuckers floating on trash.
Their shitholes are way worse than our shitholes. I will.
Now,
give you that.
can I ask
will say
Daniel?
that.
Can I ask Daniel a question? Are you FBA, sir?
Absolutely.
Yes, he FBA.
Now, brother, what is your beef?
Absolutely.
What is
His
your
respect.
beef?
He's a respectful
Now,
FBA.
let me ask him this
He
question.
ain't really
Let me ask you this
respectful.
question. What is your beef with Donald Trump when you guys are both anti-legal immigration? You
I don't
guys
have no beef
both
with
believe in
Trump.
situation
He
of
like Trump.
national
I don't have no
popular.
beef with Trump. I said
You-
get these illegals the fuck out of here.
See, brother, I'm not attacking you. I just asked that question.
No,
That's
no,
the only thing-
I'm just
that's
He
the only thing
answered.
I asked.
Yeah, he answered.
Brother, I ain't accusing you of nothing because I
Okay.
noticed a lot of FBAs are like hopeless Democrats where they got rejected from the Democratic Party. They have the similar stances when it comes to the Republican Party, when it comes to illegal immigration, we need to block it. But they just have this never-ending crutch of just not liking the man at all. I noticed a lot of FBA people are like hopeless Democrats where they say cut the check one moment, then they say next moment we need to get rid of illegal immigration. We got too many tethers in our mix. We got too many illegal anti-black Hispanics. But then again, when it comes to the situation of, brother, who do you voted for? A lot of these motherfuckers say Kamala Harris.
Oh,
I say, oh, dear
100%.
God.
100%. Oh, we already know the hypocrisy of FBA. We don't even got to get into that. They
No
hate
problem.
tethers. They this. They ride with Trump. They say they love Trump, but at the end of the day, when they go in that voter booth,
Kamala Harris.
85%.
Those the FBAs is not on code.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Because to be
Kyrie
honest,
don't
I
even,
would
or
vote
are you guys?
Trump.
You know what's worse?
Don't even
Hold
fuck
on,
with
Daniel.
Democrats.
You know what's worse? These fools don't even vote. That's the worst. They'll just be like, well, I ain't voting for neither. That's what Tariq does. I don't even vote. I ain't even gonna go out there. They remember they said they were choosing the couch. Remember that? So
Yeah,
they'll sit
Scott.
by, you know, and let some bullshit happen.
Yep.
All in the name of choosing the couch. By the way, CLR, thank you for the $5 super chat. I marked you down for another entry for the raffle. You are currently at 3 raffle entries and leading the pack. Guys, don't forget you can be entered to win the raffle by donating $5 or more to the channel, and you can donate as many times as you want, and you will be given another entry in the drawing for the raffle. Okay. Yeah. So with what G Lacan was saying, yeah, man, there are shitholes in America. There are shitholes in Africa. Basically, there are shitholes with white people in America. You know, go up to Appalachia, go up to the Ozark Mountains, go up to the mountains out there in Georgia. I don't even know what they're called. Maybe those are Appalachia. I don't even know which is which. But the whole point is there's shitholes everywhere, and the only way we're going to fix our shitholes is by acknowledging their shitholes, not living in a constant state of denial. Denial has destroyed the black man, in not only in America, in the world, because he keeps complaining about his problem, but then when someone identifies or calls out his problem, he allows his ego to override his asshole and then starts denying that what he just complained about is even happening. It's really bad. It's like when a woman complains about there not being no good men out here, then you point out the fact that every man she's dated has been a Pookie or a Ray Ray, and then she starts saying, well, they're not really all bad, and starts trying to name, you know, you ever been around a woman, and I'll ask this question of RF. Have you ever been around a woman, RF, where she constantly complained about her husband or her boyfriend, and then when you start pointing out the bad things that he's doing, she starts defending him?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Go ahead, make your point.
100%. No, I just wanted to comment on Ramaphosa at the White House. I actually think Ramaphosa, I think he did pretty good at the White House, and he didn't get Zelensky, so I think that's good. But I want to say that the guy the video that Trump played, the guy, what's the guy's name who's saying kill the people, kill the farmers, and all that stuff like that? I agree with you. How come that guy's able to run around and say all that stuff in public? I mean, he's literally like, you know, soliciting murder of people in South Africa. I don't understand how he gets to run around and just kind of say that out in public in these huge stadiums. That's crazy to me.
Because the ANC benefits from that. The ANC benefits from that. Because if Malema says what Malema does is he draws in all it's like the Libertarian Party in America. If people go into the Libertarian Party, the Republicans benefit from that. Because most libertarians are staunchly conservative. They just don't want to be a part of the Republican Party.
And I want to say something about the immigrants. These Africana immigrants that we're bringing here, these are poor white people. It's not like we're getting the cream of the crop from South Africa. These are poor whites in South Africa that are coming to the United States, and we're gonna have to pay, benefits, Social Security, Medicaid, all this other kind of stuff.
I doubt that, man.
No,
the reason why I
those are
say
not
is
white
because
farmers that are coming here. Those are poor white
how can
trash.
you tell? How can you
What?
tell, man? How can you tell if they're white trash or white farmers?
Just look at them.
I'm just saying because
play the tape and look at them.
The farmers got the money. They own 3/4% of the land in South Africa. They have the money. They control most of the wealth. The white population in South Africa.
And here's the funny thing, man.
Look,
Here's the funny
not
thing.
all white South Africans are rich. Not all white South Africans are landowners. These people
But
are
here's the
not
funny thing, though.
high caliber, immigrants.
Here's the funny thing about that. What you just got to say is that, yeah, the white farmers, yeah, they have a lot of land and a lot of wealth. Despite the fact that the ANC passed over the past 30 years, over 130 pro-black, anti-white discriminatory, laws, quote unquote, being, black economic empowerment laws, basically the same types of laws that FBA want to actually, get passed here in America. White people are still wealthier than all the blacks.
Yes, I mean
it's because of blacks have the same spending habits FBA has.
Right.
That has
They go
nothing to do
out.
with
They go out
FBA.
and
It's
spend
a historical
frivolously.
thing. The farms, the
No,
land
no,
has
no, no.
always
It's not.
been.
It's not
Look,
historical.
when they
It's
did the
not historical
reconciliation, when
because
they did
look because if you
reconciliation in
look at
South Africa, they were not able to take the farms, and they don't do
really,
what the
really because
expropriation.
explain to me how 90% of the expropriated farms that were taken by whites have failed.
That's not true. I would think
90%.
no. Look, okay. For instance,
90%.
look what happened in
That
Zimbabwe.
is
When they
government
took the
statistics
farms.
from
Listen,
South Africa.
Guys, you
bro,
have to
can you?
talk. You
You
guys
can't
got to
talk over
talk
each
one at
other.
a time.
When they did it in Zimbabwe, when they took the land from the white farmers and they didn't have the black farmers to go in there and farm the land and do all the agriculture like with the efficiency of the white farmers. Zimbabwe went into a complete meltdown. As far, it used to be the breadbasket of Africa, and they totally went through starvation and everything else. So even if you did take all the land from the white farmers and gave it to the black population, they will probably run the farms into the ground until the ANC does something to get the people up to snuff as far as running farms and managing farms.
The ANC has 30 plus years and they have rolling blackouts like they do in California.
I'm not supporting the ANC. I don't think the ANC has a monopoly on power. I don't. It's ridiculous.
They've been in
To
charge
me,
since Mandela. Before that,
The
they've been in
ANC,
charge for 30 plus years.
the
well,
ANC has run South Africa into the ground. That's what they've done. They used to be a first world country with modern everything. Now they have rolling blackouts. Their economy is damn near collapsing. Unemployment is ridiculous. I'm telling you, people are just stealing money.
right. Well, and
Cyril
the thing,
Ramaphosa is a multi-billionaire, bro.
right. But why are they running to us? South Africa's in BRICS. Why are they running to the United
Hey,
States when they're in
hey,
BRICS?
stop killing my stop. I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you was. All right.
I literally am gonna bring that up because that's one of the reasons why I really don't give a shit about this. You guys are in BRICS. Why are you running to America? Why is Cyril over here trying to do a trade talks? He knows he needs the white man.
After an hour. It's a quiet, sunny morning in South Africa after an ambush of its president in America. But at a glance, you'd think there was nothing going on.
It's strange to think that idyllic, small, white-owned South African farms like this one are ground zero for such an explosive meeting thousands of miles away in the Oval Office. But what happens here and how it's represented is fueling President Trump's claims of a white genocide.
Interesting to know. When we last spoke to Vani, he was happy white farmers were being offered protection by the U.S.
We had a lot of break-ins.
After the meeting at the Oval Office, he's elated.
What did you think of the White House meeting?
Americans will call it a whipping. I will say immediately, we are not in genocide at this stage. We are suffering from crime, and they are targeting the white people, but because they're a little bit more affluent than other people.
Few days.
But a much more deliberate case of persecution is being alleged by President Trump.
Death, 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 horrible death.
Who presented discredited sources as evidence of a white genocide in South Africa. A case refuted by facts and one simple statement from its president.
There's just no genocide in South Africa.
But there are issues Afrikaners say they need addressed.
Instead of going into a genocide or not genocide fight, just accept farm murders is a serious issue, and there are tangible steps that we can take. And those steps we have put in our proposal that we are going to discuss with the ANC, and I think that is the way to go.
Ultimately, the statistics don't support a case of mass killing.
If you look at the official statistics from the police, they already show that a year we have murders that are over 30,000. But when you're thinking about the farming community as a part of that, it's a small share, around 0.1%.
Once again, South Africa's bitter racial politics is being laid bare for the world to see. 30 years after apartheid ended, and only 5 months after Trump was inaugurated. Yusra El-Bagher, Sky News, South Africa.
My biggest thing is if someone's killing my people and I gotta lie and say it's a genocide to get people to pay attention, I'll do that. Because at the end of the day, Cyril ain't gonna do shit about it. He benefits from that.
It's
And
definitely
that's
not
what
a genocide.
it's not. I said I don't even believe it's a genocide in the beginning. But what I'm gonna say is I'm not gonna fault them for claiming it's a genocide because what else do you do when your president is an absolute bum and he won't even defend you? He lets a dude jump on stage calling for people to kill you. So as the economy gets worse, it will turn into a genocide. Because the youth unemployment of South Africa is 34%. What you think they're going to do by the time that reaches 50% or 75%? They will start going after the whites because those white people have the most money. So I'm not siding with these white people. I'm just saying I understand what they're doing. And I realize a lot of black people, they have to, they have to quantify it as, oh, he's taking their side because we're too lame and ignorant to do it for our own people. We should be doing the same fucking thing that these white farmers are doing in South Africa. We should be going to the government, demanding all types of compensation, money, programs, and all that to address our self-inflicted genocide on each other. Is there anyone who would disagree with that?
No, but I don't know how
To be honest with
America.
you,
I was gonna say Trump just needs to stop looking like a damn Energizer bunny.
What? How
Like
is
somebody put a
America going
battery
to
in his back.
protect white farmers in South Africa? That's what I want. Oh, how are we going to? What are we going to do to protect white farmers in America?
He's
We
just letting
can't.
the ones who want to come over here come over here. That's
Yeah,
basically it.
but the thing is, they are going to lose if they leave their farms. Their power is based in having that land and having those mining industries in South Africa.
Bro, if
They
you
can't
leave
go
a
back to the
farm,
Netherlands. They're from the Netherlands originally. Why don't they go back to the Netherlands?
if
Why are
you
they
leave a
coming to the
farm,
United States?
you leave a farm in South
why
Africa,
would you care?
they're not even thinking about that bullshit anymore. Those farms don't generate a lot of money. It generates enough money for them to survive. But once they come here, they could get a freaking IT job or something that'll pay more than they're making on those farms. Did you see how happy they were to be in America, dude? They ain't giving a fuck about no farm. They was
I
treating
honestly think they have more, but not all white people are farmers in South Africa. It's a very small percentage of the population that are actually own those big farms like that, is what I'm saying. A lot of them, they own the mines and things like that, but I don't see the benefit of them coming here. Why wouldn't you go to the Netherlands? Why would you come to the US? It doesn't make
because they
sense to me.
because they want to go somewhere where they're not going to be taxed into oblivion. That's socialism, and over there they want to come where they have a chance to make some money and do
Yeah,
remittance
but
back to
Hey
their.
guys, let's be
yeah,
real. Let's be
I
real.
mean,
Let's be real.
Hold on,
Guys,
go
guys,
ahead.
let's be real. Nobody is dying out here. All right. The truth is what? We all know Elon Musk is behind this.
Of
All
course,
right. We all know like Elon Musk is behind this. Like the truth is what? It's all about networking. It's simple than that. Actually, the owner of Tesla is South African. He's one of the richest men in the world.
right.
So of course he's a friend with the president of the United States. Of course he's gonna say, "Hey, please, can you just check my community over there?" Because that's the way the work is. Even like,
Technically,
yeah,
technically, Elon Musk could just build them their own like utopia over there. They have a town
exactly.
that's all white, but he wants to. What he wants to do is he wants to bring white South Africans into America because this is the quickest way to generate generational wealth.
Yeah, and
Everyone
not
knows that.
and everybody and the truth is like to
I think this
everybody.
has a lot to do with their
Wait, let him
fertility
finish.
rates.
Let
No,
him finish.
and the thing is what everybody knows, everybody doing that. Even like, for example, like you are here, instead of black people, everybody does that. Even Latino themselves, when they come here, they get rich. They call their cousin to immigrate to America. I'll come out here. I got this restaurant. Come out here, work in my business. That's the way the world is. Everybody working like that, except the black people. Even us, like a lot of rich people from Africa say, "Hey guys, come back to Africa to buy land and stuff like that." But no, out here in the black community, we got the FBA. You say, "Oh no, we don't want to go back to Africa. We're not African," stuff like that. We are the only communities denied this kind of stuff.
I'm not
That's the
African.
truth of it.
We're the only community that refuses to do what every other community on earth is doing. They get the money in America, they go back to South Africa. I promise you, within 20 years, they'll have control of the country again. I promise you. Because once you got the money, you got the control. Real quick, I want to point this out, and then I'm going to my boy Hakeem. Brandon, there's nothing wrong with you disagreeing with Trump on something, man. Damn, I disagree with Trump on the idea of a genocide. There's no genocide happening. I don't believe that for 1 minute. And Trump believes there is a genocide. So we disagree on that. You guys need to stop with that bullshit.
Isn't genocide state sponsored? But see, I don't say genocide because I don't think it's a state sponsored thing to go after white people in South Africa.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
genocide doesn't have to be
That's all I'm
state-sponsored.
saying.
When you have
Yeah.
political clout, when you have political power, like Malema does. Malema is a member of a prominent political party in South Africa. You know, like if Trump were to be doing what he was doing, saying like instead of saying kill the Boer, saying kill the nigga, I will guarantee you there'll be no stop to the coverage of that shit. They'll be saying like, "Oh, he's racist and shit."
Well,
But
I think
like,
when I came up, the first thing I said, I don't know how he's out there doing that and not arrested for hate speech and incitement of violence. I don't understand.
The reason why is because the South African government does not recognize that as hate speech.
The reason
everywhere else, in England and the United States, that's hate speech.
But when he says we will take land, we will kill, that is hate speech. The reason they're not doing anything is because the ANC benefits from that type of bullshit talk. The same way the Republican Party benefits from the Libertarian Party taking votes away from the Democrat Party. It's all about the retention of power. The ANC.
But wait a minute, didn't the former president of the ANC of South Africa, didn't he form his own party and he kind of says stuff like this too? Who's the guy who
You're talking about the guy who got busted for stealing all that money. The guy who was president before Cyril. Yeah, that dude tried to start his own party. He has stole billions of dollars from the government. What was that guy's name? You guys give me the what's his name? TSM?
Name was
Good Luck Jonathan. No, I'm just kidding. You stupid.
Well, he got away with it too.
Jacob Zuma. Yeah, he got away with it.
Yes.
Man, listen, I'm telling you, these South African people are ignorant, bro. He stole billions from their government, and when they put him in jail, they rioted. They start burning down their own businesses over this clown. It's just something about Africa where they love a central figure. They love just the one guy. The Kenyans have it too with this guy, Raila Odinga. The Luos ain't he can do no wrong, even though he's selling them out every time there's a new president. Raila Odinga finds his way into the government. Don't tell a Luo that; they'll be ready to chop your head off. Go ahead, Hakeem.
Yo, what's up, man? I'll say so. I know an attorney. It's a white dude. He's from South Africa. A couple of his family members, he told me, had got killed or whatever. Now, I also know a black dude who's a South African, and he comes from a rural area in South Africa, and he moved to Minnesota, came here, got an IT, married a white chick, moved out to the middle of Minnesota, and got his own land. Because he wanted to be a farmer or whatever, and that's what that's what his people like to do. And the white folks, some of them white folks, they own more land than they actually need. They just sitting on net worth so they can borrow against it. Let's be real and just be wealthy.
But that's where the government comes in.
Right. And they need to be able to get some of that land situated. But ultimately, yeah, it's the government that's at fault because they can't figure this out. That's what the problem is.
They offered them money for land, and they actually paid, from what I understand, they paid more than what the land value is in order to get some of the land from the white farmers, but they have to voluntarily want to give the land over. But just like I said, my first point, they are more wealthier staying in South Africa than coming over here. So I don't understand why they would want, unless they're just poor white South Africans. And I think that's what we're getting. Poor white South Africans.
I'll say this. I'll say they're just pawns in a game, and they don't ultimately matter. I don't think they give two craps about those people.
Well,
They
this
just
situation,
benefit. They
It was
benefit.
just a show.
Bro, there are people who are doctors and shit in other countries who
We right, but we
will leave
can't.
their practices to come to America and be
But with those people that landed, those South Africans that landed, that's just to make the story they were pitching to Trump stick. That was just for Trump. Let's not be fooled that Trump does, while he does, he's populist, he stands for some good things. But at the same time, let's not forget that he can be fucking gullible.
well, Elon convinced
And
him there was a genocide over there. It was only like 20 people, so it's
no,
not like a,
because he could have dropped the lights on Netanyahu. That's what he could have did. He could have dropped the lights on him. He could be dropping the lights on a lot more other leaders that be coming through there.
The reason why he's not probably doing with Netanyahu right now is because
they
he
own
has a lot of Jewish connections within his family. I mean, like, marriage wise is concerned, man.
He should have even more sway then, right? To stop a genocide.
Well, I mean, you can say that there's genocide happening in Gaza. You can also say there's genocide happening within the Black community.
Because he's picking one genocide over another. He should have just focused on the governmental mishaps aspect. I don't think he needed to go super hard on the genocide thing, because that puts him in a funny position, given his support to Israel.
Okay, so what would you? So how many people dead?
Which genocide
in a
is
time
worse?
span? Do you
Which
think
genocide is
counts
worse?
as genocide?
Which genocide is worse?
I would say the genocide of Christians. There's been millions dead.
I'm talking about between South
are you
Africa
talking
and
about?
Israel.
What Christian genocide are you talking about?
Don't let him sidetrack. Between South Africa and Israel.
Hey, you guys, if you're not going to answer the question, do you think we should let Palestinian refugees come over here instead of South African refugees? That's
Or
what
both.
I'm asking.
I don't want neither one of them to come over here.
And that's not the question I'm asking. What I'm saying is Trump put himself in a position to where he's picking one genocide over another.
Well,
I mean,
first of
they're
all,
not
South
really
Africa is not a
considering the
genocide.
Palestinians.
Right, but he's saying it is.
Palestine.
That's
they're
what
not
I'm
white
saying.
folks.
No,
That's what I'm saying, though. He's putting himself in a tight position.
Well, I don't think that's a weird position, because at the end of the day, South Africans are white. Like Palestinians are still Arabs. So
How many terrorist groups have come out of white South Africa in the past 20 years?
Right. I mean, we could argue that even dealing in the Middle East is why we experienced terror attacks in the first place. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is that he's calling one thing that's clearly a genocide not a genocide, and then he's calling something that's shaky at best a genocide.
I mean, that's business, though.
And it's because, and what I'm trying to get at is that, like, this dude, he doesn't even do like 2 seconds of his own research, man. Like, he just went in hot off of what someone whispered in his ear, damn near. He watched that video on Air Force One on his way back to the White House.
Hey, Keem, I just want to address this to you, real quick.
Or he benefits in some way from this. Maybe Elon Musk is like, bro,
The thing is, they want a military base in that South African region. So this is literally an optic play. Due to the fact that, one, they want to make sure that they have a foothold when it comes to the continent. Why do you think Trump signed the securities agreement when it came to Congo?
He could have said, "You suck at resource management."
Well, no, he signed a security agreement with the Congo because their neighbor Rwanda was invading them, and they
the
were
rare earth
sponsoring terrorists to invade them
and we
too.
can get access to the rare
no,
earth
he signed it.
materials.
He signed
They're
the
not
agreement.
terrorists.
He signed the agreement because they're gonna give a bunch of mineral rights to the United States.
Yeah,
Bingo.
good.
He
We could
doesn't
be
give a,
people
he
away
doesn't
from
give a
China.
fuck about any of that stuff that's going on over there. I want to get to the last
Trump didn't even
portion.
know where Congo was.
Right. Why the hell is Cyril Ramaphosa, his bitch ass, why is he over here having trade talks with the United States when he was in BRICS? And everybody was telling me
I know,
3 years
right?
ago,
He
BRICS
a
is
weasel,
gonna.
ain't he?
Hey,
They
listen.
still talking that brick shit.
Hey,
Bricks is
remember,
a paper tiger.
listen,
Tell them
you
niggas go
guys
get them
remember.
bricks.
You guys remember
Brick
when
shit and bricks.
you guys remember when all these Negroes were telling me BRICS is gonna take out the United States.
I was in the panel with you.
And South Africa just joined BRICS. Well, you know what? Well, look at that. South Africa is over here begging Trump to do a trade deal with them. What happened to BRICS? Why is Cyril Ramaphosa, big cartoon character looking ass, over here begging for a trade deal?
Bro,
That's
why
my
do he look
question.
like that though?
The
Bro,
reason why, look,
He
the reason
literally looks
why
like
I
Shrek.
think that
He literally
South
looks like
Africa
Shrek.
is the reason why I think that South Africa is breaking away from BRICS is because Russia and China is probably saying to them, like, yo, what the fuck are you doing, man? Like, get your shit, the fucking together.
No, let
But
me tell you what's going the truth.
no, the
BRICS
reason
has
why I
no
say that is
motion.
because what?
BRICS has no motion. You got Russia, their economy is collapsed. China, their
No, there
economy is
hasn't, man.
damn near
Huh?
collapsed.
All white
Russia
brick.
has not collapsed at all, man.
I
Russia's
said the
been growing
Russian
at 3.5%,
economy.
4% the entire time they've been invaded, man. Like,
Man, stop telling that lie. Or their
I'm
whole
not lying,
primary
man.
export
I'm
is
not
oil and
lying,
gas, and the
White
price of
bruh.
Cadillac.
gas has gone
Let's
down.
hit him, Nick.
Look, do you have any understanding of what a war is
What
versus
is
a
Russia
special
going to do for
operation?
South
You
Africa?
don't fucking know.
What
You
is
don't fucking
Russia?
know because if
Listen,
war, because if
bro,
Russia was at fucking war,
you
the
just be
entire
saying anything. I
I'm
can't
telling you right
even.
now,
You just be saying anything. Anyway, I don't know.
no,
What can
you don't
Russia
know
do
shit,
for?
man.
What can Russia do for South Africa? What can Russians buy from South Africa? What can China
What
do?
can Russia
China,
do for South
China.
Africa? Quite a
Let
whole
me
lot,
let
man.
me finish. Let me finish. Let me finish. First of all, China wants to sell you things. They don't want to import things to you. They want to flood your market with cheap stuff and destroy your manufacturing. They're not looking to buy stuff from you, so they can't do anything for South Africa. Russia, they have barely a population. They barely have an economy, so they can't do anything for South Africa. Iran can't do anything for South Africa. So what can the BRICS do? India can't do anything for South Africa. BRICS can't do anything for South Africa. So that's why they're here in
And
America
America would like to
Listen, you
break
don't
up
know a
BRICS.
damn thing
biggest
about
consumer
Russia.
market.
America would like to break up BRICS as well. So he's wringing his wrist or whatever, but he'll still do enough with South Africa to separate him from BRICS, make it just BRIC.
Well, no. Well, South Africa isn't going to leave BRICS based on the U.S. I don't think that they're not going to do that. But
Not just the
BRICS
U.S.
is a
alone.
BRICS is a big nothing to me. All the economies in BRICS are trash. India and China hate each
No, they're
other.
not. Actually, they have more GDP than the entire G7. So I don't think that's something to sniff at.
No, they have
Second
a
of
India
bigger
all,
ain't fooling with
population,
bricks
dude.
no
That's a
more.
lie.
India
no, it's
said they
not a
not
lie.
Bigger
fooling with bricks no more.
population.
It's not a lie. If you
What
include
what has a
BRICS and
bigger
also
population
the
got than
countries
India?
Hold
that
on,
joined
hold
BRICS,
on,
yeah,
hold on. Tell me,
that's more than
okay.
the entire GDP of the
Hey,
G20.
Google that right now. Google it. Google
Guys,
it, bro.
hold on, guys, hold on, guys. Listen, let's just get the facts on the BRICS versus the G7.
Right.
Bricks. Huh?
So when it
All
comes
white
All
to
white
bricks.
everything,
BRICS.
All white bricks.
when it comes
White.
to everything, the whole BRICS situation is a paper tiger due to the fact that India is going to work out a trade deal when it comes to the United States. Even Vietnam is going to work out a trade deal with the United States. India and Pakistan is beefing. How can you have a coalition when these motherfuckers both have nuclear weapons and literally putting a gun up and say, do something?
No.
How
And
can you have a situation where both of them have their guns right there, ready to blow up Kingdom Come? Now, when it
well,
comes to the aspects of the foreign currency market, 56% of the world's reserves are still in dollars. 88% of the global transactions when it comes to foreign trade markets is still in dollars. Even if they did have a situation where they had their own BRICS currency, it's illiquid. And plus, the yuan doesn't have no transparency.
Well,
And that's
LA
why
Thorn,
India,
they
LA
manipulate
Thorn,
their currency.
hey, LA Thorn, right? LA Thorn is telling the truth. BRICS does have a higher GDP than the G7, especially when measured by purchasing power parity. Here's a breakdown based on data, primarily from 2003 and 2004 projections. BRICS in 2003 had 37.4% of the global GDP. G7 in 2004 had 29.3%. No, they had 29.3% in 2023, and then they had 28% in 2024. Their nominal GDP was around 45.9 trillion in 2023. But BRICS probably does have they do have a bigger GDP, but I think that's why Trump is going into action against China, going into action against India and everybody else, because it's like, if you guys have enough GDP to fight the United States, why then are we still abiding by these tariffs and shit? Why don't you play fair? So I think as Trump levels the playing field, which he's doing a great job of doing, I think you'll see a decline in the GDP of BRICS, or the global market share of BRICS. But I just think, like y'all said, BRICS is a paper tiger. They manipulate currency. They falsify records. For one, no one can even tell you what's going on in the Chinese stock market, honestly, because they truly do not let anyone know.
Yeah, they hide their employment data. They hide.
It's a black hole.
Yeah, it's
what do you think? What do you think South Africa is doing with their data, man? Like they're hiding the freaking data. They're not transparent at all when it comes to freaking homicides.
So then we
here in the United States, we can break it down by race.
So
we can break it down by race, age, ethnicity, everything.
But
South Africa is not.
But if you're not giving your data, then everything is speculation. No one really knows the GDP of China. We only got to go by what China says their GDP is.
And let me say this. China doesn't want to trade with BRICS nation because when they trade with the United States, they get paid in dollars. They don't want to get paid in Vietnamese dollars. They don't want to get paid in South African dollars. They want to get paid in American dollars because they wipe their ass with those currencies. That's why BRICS is not successful. They don't want to get paid in Indian rupees. They want dollars. So that's why BRICS
explain to me how,
and he's proving
so explain to me how a dollar back in explain to me how a dollar back in 1940, 1950 is worth more than a dollar in 2025, man. And why would you want to keep that dollar from 1925 versus 2025?
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't even know what you're talking about.
I'm talking about inflation, man.
He's backing
inflation that has killed our purchasing power.
Brother, if that was the case, then why is 88% of the global's foreign currency still being traded in dollars? Why is 56% of our global reserve currency is backed by the dollar? So
the reason why it's backed by the dollar is because they still have faith in our freaking credit. Once that credit is broken, once
our credit just got downgraded, and it's still the reserve currency. So what are you talking about?
So once it gets further downgraded, what do you think is gonna happen, man?
No one's
all it takes is a couple countries for them to freaking start.
He want the dollar to collapse. Do you realize that a dollar collapse, that's like the most horrible thing that could probably happen for all of us as far as your money, your savings, all that. So
and that's
it's
what
just,
I'm trying to get
I mean, what are you talking about?
What I'm trying to get at is that our currency itself is a paper fucking tiger. It's been like that since the 1970s, since we went off the gold standard.
Why don't you trade all your dollars for Chinese yuan and see how?
I probably will actually make out better. I probably make out better trading my dollars for freaking yuan.
He won't.
Yeah, right. No, next, Brandon. What?
You keeping all your greenbacks, dog? Come on. Like I said, man, we act like we want this shit to collapse when we're in it. How the hell we want this shit to collapse?
Man, listen, I'm gonna tell you straight. I'm gonna tell you straight up. You can say whatever you want. When Trump put those tariffs on China, China had no reason to come to the negotiating table.
Hell, they lifted ethane gas.
And then when he took, go ahead.
They lifted a tariff on the ethane gas. 145% tariff was lifted before we even came to the situation of the negotiation table with China. So you are definitely right, brother Brandon.
Right. They have no choice because we're the biggest consumer market, and the Europeans aren't going to let them flood their market with cheap Chinese stuff. They're not going to let them do that. So they have to come to us. They have no choice. They don't want to sell to no South Africa and get South African dollars. They don't want to sell to no India and get Indian rupees. They want American dollars. That's how they sustain their economy.
I kind of feel China a little bit though, because why would they let the rest of the world flood their country first with products while they still trying to get their feet off the ground?
No. They're not trying to get their. How are they trying to get their feet off the ground when they have a Belt and Road program?
I'm not talking about today. I'm not talking about today where African countries let the Chinese flood their markets with stuff. And then
China's economy isn't that
African
great
countries,
anyway.
what, they gonna keep buying the Chinese products that are tariffed to shit? Like come on, man.
The Chinese economy isn't that great. Go over there; they have all these buildings that are empty. They
Yeah,
built
it ain't
all their
now because the customers ain't gonna buy Chinese stuff at 145% tariff.
Well, and they're not going to buy that cheap Temu and Shein stuff anyway, because that's getting tariffed too. So
we had to show them. We had to show them real quick that y'all need us. We're the gluttonous consumers that you all need to sell to.
Hey, I'm gonna read this. I'm gonna read this. Look, yes, okay. Is China? Hey, mute up, guys. Okay, is China's economy hurting from U.S. tariffs? Yes, China's economy is experiencing a negative impact from U.S. tariffs, though the extent of the damage is subject to ongoing analysis and depends on various factors, including China's own policy responses. Here's a breakdown of key impacts. GDP reduction. Goldman Sachs research estimates that the cumulative increase in the effective U.S. tariffs rate on Chinese goods since the Trump administration, if sustained, could reduce China's real GDP by 2.6%, with a significant portion of that impact occurring in 2025. Other estimates range from less than 1% to over 2% reduction in GDP growth. Declining trade. U.S. tariffs have led to a sharp decline in bilateral trade between the U.S. and China. Some reports indicate that shipments of goods from China to the U.S. have dropped significantly, with container bookings down by as much as 60% in some cases. Supply chain diversification. Chinese manufacturers are incentivized to redirect exports to the U.S. through other countries to avoid tariffs, and companies are increasingly pursuing a China plus one strategy to diversify their manufacturing.
That shows how much they need us, though. They got to still divert it to the U.S.
Yeah, no, this, listen, I'm not going to read all this shit, but China's fucked up.
No, they build factories in other countries and trying to circumvent the U.S. tariff system, which is not working because Trump put a tariff on that too.
Yeah, that's why he put tariffs on everybody. But the whole thing is China's economy will collapse. Do you understand that 2% reduction in GDP would basically cause Xi Jinping to have a revolt on his hands? People will be starving. People will be starving.
They have to employ millions of people. They have millions of factory workers that they have to keep employed. So without that manufacturing, without us buying their stuff, you're gonna have millions of people without a job, and they all
and the small wholesalers though too. The small wholesalers, they're holding the bag on the product they bought.
Right. So yeah, I mean it's that and look at youth unemployment in China. That's a big thing too. A whole bunch of people with college degrees and no jobs to go to.
After all that school, all that studying.
Let me tell you how ignorant people are. When you were little, everything didn't say made in China. When you were little, everything said made in Taiwan. That's a fact.
Or Japan.
So when you're talking, when you got people like Crash Out King saying there's no F up, USA don't have products all over the world with USA name on it, China name on everything. He couldn't find 10 things in his house that were made in China, bro.
And they steal our stuff.
They steal our IP, our intellectual property. They steal everything. But what I'm telling you is people don't even, dude, go look. I remember this. They were saying like American shelves are empty. Chinese people start trying to spread that propaganda, right? So there are people in the United States who went to stores like Target and shit and show people, look at all this Chinese made shit sitting on the shelf that nobody wants. Chinese made luggage and all that. I don't know about you guys, but when I travel, I go to Marshall's and buy luggage that's made in France or America or wherever. I don't buy no Chinese made luggage.
My luggage is French too.
Exactly. It's just ignorance. People who hear something, That sounds good, so they believe it. I'll tell you one thing: this fake ass Stanley Cup that I got right here is made in China. It's fake, but you couldn't tell the difference between a fake Stanley Cup and a real Stanley Cup because China is stealing intellectual property.
And if China, if Stanley is an American company, Stanley can just make it somewhere else. See, like, we're not in love with a bunch of Chinese brands to where these tariffs will stop us from getting, let's say, if the Chinese invented the iPhone, we're not going to be stopped from getting the new iPhone. We're just going to be getting it from somewhere else and maybe pay a little bit extra for it, but it's not going to go up like inflation does. It's going to be a static fee. But we have the choice to pay
depends
that
on
if we
where you
want to.
get it from, though, because China themselves have admitted, what you were saying too, to a degree, that they've
So
moved
Nike can
a
make it
lot of
somewhere
their
else, but
operations
Nike's an
offshore to,
American
like, say,
product. We're not going to
Vietnam,
miss out.
Cambodia. You know what I'm saying? They've moved it to those operations down there where, yes, the labor isn't quite as cheap as China, but it's comparable. But like, if you have a base of operations in the southeast, like in, say, China, or in, say, Taiwan or Singapore, you have access to those markets. You have more access to those markets and information that if you're in the West, you don't have access to, because where you set up shop at. You know what I'm saying? So you also have to factor that information in as well.
Well, I want to say something else about South Africa. The same situation in South Africa is in Namibia. When I was in Namibia in Windhoek, it's the whole downtown is German. The whole downtown is white Germans. And most of the farmland is German too, but they're not having the same problems in South Africa when it comes to, killing farmers and all this other kind of was quote unquote white genocide. So, you know, I don't know why it's such a difference between, well, probably the politics, but it's the same
It is the
situation in a lot of
politics. It
countries
always has
in
been,
in
always will be.
Southern Africa. A
But you
lot of
can't
white
force
people own farmers.
all the black people in South Africa to be urban. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people in South Africa was tending to that land before the white people came in. So I mean, you can't force everybody into urban sprawl, all the black people, and then a couple of the white people just keep all the land.
No, the whites actually went into areas that weren't, inhabited by the Zulu, and the whites that actually made the land manageable and farmable. Then the Zulu came in and decided to, get their hands involved in it.
Well, no, the difference is small farms are
Yes,
not
that's
going to
exactly what
feed.
happened.
Small farms are not going to feed a nation. You need some kind of mass farming that's going to be able to sustain. You're not going to have these small little farms. You have a little potato farm here, a little this. That's not going to work. That's the problem. They want to. You can't. You got to have farms that are going to actually produce a big yield of food in order to feed the countries and also export food. So
But
that's the problem.
some people are arguing that
So who do you think?
some
So
people are
so so let
arguing
me
that
ask you
all
a
the
question.
farmable land
So
isn't being used for farming. That's what some people argue, is that it's not all being
so
used for farming.
Yeah. Well. Okay.
so
I
so
mean.
so those industrial sized farms, right? Those industrial sized farms require different techniques that are foreign in a lot of ways to native population.
Why can't
That
black people have
won't.
little farming communities? Like, it doesn't have to all
That's
be
not
No, I'm
going to
just
industrial.
work.
saying, like, doing
That's
it
not
on
going
a
to work.
scale and doing it efficiently, because there are techniques that other people have used in the past that could be applicable to where you're at right now in South Africa.
That's
If
not going to
you,
work.
how do you know?
It's
People
not going to
don't
work.
Because if it was the truth that you were saying that it wasn't going to work, then why weren't the Zulu doing it before the whites came?
Yeah, but you're talking about modern times with a population 10 times than it was back when you're talking about when the Zulus were on it.
The
We're
reason
talking
why
about
it
you have
was
to
able to
feed a bunch
actually
of
grow
people,
was
bro.
because of the white people, man. The reason why it was able to expand was because the whites brought over
Zimbabwe,
their
go back
farming
and
techniques
research
so that you
Zimbabwe.
can actually
Go
expand the
back and research
population through
Zimbabwe.
food.
Go back and research Zimbabwe when half the country
Yeah,
was starving
Zimbabwe is a
when
freaking
they
basket
took
case.
all the white farms and look what happened. So it's not gonna cut it,
Yeah,
bro.
as playing out in South Africa. Like I said, 90% of the
Trump playing out of
expropriated
South Africa.
farms have failed because of black people in the ANC saying like, hey, why don't you go over and start farming even though you have zero experience?
Why don't the government just say you niggas can't farm, so we gonna let the niggas that can do it?
No. People can farm, but you
Because
gotta set
nobody
up.
knows
You
how to
gotta
freaking do it. Nobody wants to.
no. You gotta send people to school. You gotta send people probably overseas to agricultural schools and things like that, so they know the different methods and types of farms and modern farming and things like that. So that's the problem.
You guys do realize in Africa they have agricultural, like agronomists, agricultural companies, and all that. They got all that shit in Africa, bro. Y'all tripping.
They do in Uganda. I said when I was in Uganda,
They
they
have
had
that
a
in
lot of
every
black farms.
African country. Like when we were trying to decide what to grow on our land, we had people come out and test the soil, then tell us what would be the best crop to grow in that soil. And they have the ability to connect us with buyers. Africa has farming, they know how to farm, they know what to do. You don't need to learn that shit.
Yeah,
All
I
you
was
gotta do is
shocked. I was
rebuild.
shocked to know a South African in America that came to farm in the middle of nowhere here.
Well, you'll be actually shocked to hear that there's been Canadian farmers actually moving to Russia and they've actually started farming there. So
they're insane.
I mean,
No, wheat
yeah.
farm, wheat farmers.
No, I'm talking about like farmers like cattle, goats, wheat as well. But I mean, like, there's a whole bunch of farmers from from Canada. There's even one that's prominent called Countryside Acres, a family of 10 people. They moved to Russia. They started farming, and they're prospering right now.
Who in
So
the hell want to move to Russia where it's a frozen tundra?
to get away from you niggas, that's why
85% of the
Hella
year.
I
random
would do that
information.
shit. I would fucking move. I would move my black ass to fucking Siberia.
You
Right next to
talking
Lake
all this
Baikal.
cash money stuff, but you ain't
Nigga
moved
chasing
nowhere
caribou.
yet. You
He
ain't
said
moved
it.
nowhere yet.
Hey, that shit was funny though. Stop. All right, guys, listen. It's been a great night. I'm gonna wrap this up. It's been great getting back on the stream with you guys. I know I've been neglecting everybody. I've been at No Jumper, putting my time in, trying to represent for us the right way. I'll be back with y'all all tomorrow. I gotta go to a champagne party, but I will be with you guys tomorrow. And I'm gonna be hitting you guys with a lot of videos. I'm actually gonna stay here tonight, make more videos instead of just taking
All
off.
right.
So expect to see those
Support
tomorrow.
Angel Reese. See you later.
Hey, support the stream. It's still not too late to contribute a
Hey,
cash
you
app
know what?
to the channel.
I don't know why it puts me a CLR in the chat. Because I did the thing, and up here I'm RF. I don't know what's going on,
All
but
right,
I'm the
I
free
got.
person.
No,
Yeah,
I
I'm
got you.
CLR.
Did you see where I wrote it down?
Yeah, you threw 3 times you did. You told me.
Yeah, you guys, we got a raffle going on. You contribute $5 or more, you get an entry for the raffle. RF is leading everybody with 3. Sticks and Stones has 2. Mike Larry has 1. Ella Nuna has 1. Truth 884 has 1. Hakeem has 2. Robert has 1, and MJ has 1. Enter the raffle. $5. You win a bag that's worth like $300. You can't beat that. Hey, thank you all for watching. Whether we disagree or agree, or whether we agree or disagree, you know I love you guys. You know you're always welcome, and you're always open. I'm always willing to have you up to share your opinion, unless you're like that jerk who I blocked. You just can't get up here denying facts or pretending to be ignorant of the facts just to try to make a point. No one learns from that. That's just spreading misinformation in bad faith. But beyond that, anyone's welcome to drop their opinion. Till the next
All right.
time, peace.
Have a good night. I'm going to watch Roland Martin. See you.